people come on our website and they contribute something which is called as a loan guarantee. So you provide a loan guarantee. Based on that, a bank makes a loan, typically twice as large. You connect with the entrepreneur and then you make a loan guarantee. You can see this, guarantee so much. And so you put a guarantee, then we collect the guarantee, we send that to a bank. And the bank then makes a bigger loan to a microfinance institution, and the entrepreneur receives the loan. So you put in $1, then you get basically $2 of impact, and then on loan repayment you get your money back. So why is this powerful? Because it's anybody can do it. You can all go online and help someone, and it multiplies your impact. It's not like a charity in that sense. You're putting in money, but then you're getting it back. You have an expectation of getting it back unless there is a big default. And you also help the microfinance institution build a credit history with the local bank, that eventually they can get a loan without a guarantee or with a lower guarantee. And this is also sustainable and it's scalable. That's a buzzword. You can make it grow. And so I'll just tell you how we started. So it was around 2007. This whole thing, I thought we'd do this. And at that point, we just have an idea. How do I start it? So then I said we'll figure it out. So I quit my job, and we actually started designing the whole system of how we will do it, building the website. It took around 3 months to just figure out how all the moving parts in the website and things like that. And then I figured out this was pretty complex to build. So I knew that if I were to build it myself, or I was not a software developer, but even if I were to build it myself, it would take several years. And so then I started saying, okay, why don't I try with volunteers? And I contacted a lot of volunteers, and then I had this kind of army put together, a little team put together, everyone doing one small piece, but then I figured out even that would be too big. And then I tried various organizations to see, all the big names what you hear of, to see if anybody might be willing to give us developers for free to kind of build it. And then one day Cognizant came and said they will do it. And it happened very fast. A friend of mine made an introduction, we connected with Cognizant. And then lo and behold, they had put up a team within just, I think, 2 weeks. And then we all got started. So it was quite amazing how they were able to do it. Around the same time, but we were not incorporated. So even though Cognizant was building it for us, they were actually not dealing with an entity. The entity didn't exist. So we were not even incorporated as an organization. So then I contacted various law firms. Then nothing happened. So, and then nobody was interested in incorporating us. This probably seemed very complicated to them. And then finally, there was this free clinic in San Francisco. One of those law firms called Hanson Bridget, they said they will do a 501c3. Around the same time, there was this professor in Berkeley who was running a law professor, and he called me and he said, he's starting one course and called Practicum for the law students, and they wanted to get some real hands-on experience. So I was really doubtful, what will students do? They are still learning about all this legal stuff, and how can they help us? This is all really complicated. He said, no, you should come and meet me. I said, okay, fine. I said, fine, we've got a law firm, but I'll come and meet you. I met him, and then he said, okay. Then I said, this law firm is doing this, but you can help us with all this. They said, okay, we'll do this. So they came on board, and later on, as we were to find, they were really invaluable in terms of, they did a lot of the legal work, and they also connected us with some other law firms who did more legal work for us. So eventually, we ended up with having around 5 law firms actually doing work for us in so many areas. There was a lot of legal work to be done and figured out. We did that, and then in 2007 I went to India, and then late 2007, then we wanted to find a bank who would accept our guarantee. So I met a very large bank, and then I told them this is what we're doing. They said, this is fantastic. This is a product we've been waiting for all these years. Said, you come up with a contract, in 2 weeks we will sign it. So I was really excited. And 6 months later, when we contacted them, that person had moved and there was a new person, and they said, we've had a big reorg, we can't do anything. So it was all like, that whole thing of signing the contract in 2 weeks was all, didn't work out. And then we didn't have a bank, so our software was almost ready, but we didn't have a bank. And around the same time, we found one bank, HDFC Bank. They said this is interesting, and then we started looking at them, and then they took it through the legal department and all that. It was pretty complex, they had never seen something like this. So it went through several departments, and finally we got it running. And we didn't have a microfinance institution. So then I knew this person called Sitaram Rao. He's no more, but he was involved with SKS Microfinance. He, in fact, was the first CEO of SKS Microfinance. And so he knew of this organization in Jharkhand called as Ajivika. And so Ajivika was a very, very small organization at that time. This was 2008. And it was really the peak of the, it was 2009 I would say, it was the peak of the financial crisis. And no bank was really willing to lend to any microfinance, especially the smaller ones. So then we said, okay, we will help. We'll provide a guarantee, and so we actually started with Ajivika. And that's what happened, in the sense you can see they started uploading the profiles of these borrowers. So let's say this was one of the earliest profiles we had, Farida Begum, and so she was a seamstress, and she used to stitch school uniforms, and her daughter used to work on this. You can see her daughter in the background of that. She's looking at it very quietly, and both of them used to work on the same machine, and her daughter was not going to school as a result of this. And so she wanted to buy two sewing machines so that she could hire some people and then increase her income and send her daughter to school. So a lot of people funded this loan, and eventually her daughter started going to school. And you can actually see her teaching her daughter. So we have a lot of these stories you can actually follow on our website. And her income also increased, and overall what we've seen is that the impact we had was pretty good. And you know what? We actually have so far done around $125,000 in guarantee. So that has done is around $220,000 in loans, which is around 1,100 families directly got a loan. What's been most interesting was that after we started working with Ajivika, 7 other banks actually made loans to them. So they actually raised $3.1 million in loans just after we started working. And these will go to actually around 17,000 families. And they've actually distributed a good chunk of this. And so when we started, they were at around 6,000-7,000 borrowers. Now they are around 20,000 plus. So just in a matter of a year, we had a huge impact on that. But of course, what I want to talk about also a little bit is about what crisis what you have heard in India. How many of you have heard about it? Okay, it's a good number, yeah. So do you all know what happened actually?